Hey everyone! So, I have finally found the time to sit down and make my frequent asked questions videos. So, this one is going to be about the Baby Think It Over dolls and the Neonate dolls. So, excuse me, I'm going to probably be looking that way a bit just because I wrote down the questions. So it's going to help me remember what to answer. So, the first question is, what is the difference between all the different models of the Baby Think It Over? So I'm going to refer to my website, which explains all the differences in the models. Sorry, I'm looking this way, but and you guys can go to my website where you can learn everything you need to know about neonates, electronic neonates, Baby Think It Overs, all the different models. You go to www.neonatesandbtio.com. That's all one word. neonatesandbtio.com. And that is the website for the Neonates and Baby Think It Over Club group that I run. And if you look in the side menu, you have everything from about me to a message for me, about the club, how to join the club, our staff, comments that members have on the club. You've got a Meet Our Members page where some of our members share their stories and pictures of their babies. We've got news. We've got a section where members speak out about their dolls and just speaking out against those that make fun of collecting dolls and playing with our dolls. There are stories about baby trips, such as our meetups and when people have taken dolls on different outings. Members also share stories about their dolls, anything fun that's happened with their Baby Think It Overs, like those random sounds that they tend to make. I know mine seems to, anytime it's been sitting on the couch a while or sitting somewhere a while and I haven't moved it, for some reason when I tend to go walking by Haley or just move her, she'll all of a sudden just make a baby sound. So it's kind of funny. They're interactive that way. We have a section about how dolls make differences in people's lives. We have articles and videos and a section all about the different models of the Baby Think It Overs, neonates, sound files from them, neonate instructions, comments from neonate owners. It's got all the files that used to be on the Neonate website. We've got our archives of our past polls and questions of the weeks, and our little shop where you can buy Cafe Press products with our group logo on it, classified ads, and so much more. But we're going to get into the different makes of the models, and I don't really want to make this too long. I've already rambled enough. Yeah, so let's look at the Baby Think It Over models. So the first model that ever came out was the standard Baby Think It Over Generation 3. And that was the very, very first model. It had a hole in its back that a computer box would fit into, and the main difference between the G3 and the G4 is the appearance of the doll. The G3's right hand is fully opened and the faces are slightly different as well, whereas the G4, the right hand is closed. But the operation between the G3 and the G4 are exactly the same. They both have a computer box that is that you put the batteries into, you insert it in the back. This is the kind I had in high school when I did the parenting program. And when the baby cries, you have a key that you insert and you turn it, and you have to hold it during the entire care period. So sometimes the baby might need care for 5 minutes, sometimes it might need care for a half hour, and you have to hold that key the whole time. Now, what I hated about that in high school is that the key really hurt my fingers, and I didn't even think about it until the night before I had to give the doll back to my teacher that a blanket helps cushion that. So those are the really old models. Not much realistic interaction. There's no feeding, burping, rocking, no head support, nothing. It's just a key in the back, and the head turns from side to side, but it doesn't fall back. You don't need to support it. The only thing is that you can't drop it because it does count as abuse, and you can't hit it, and you can't leave it on its tummy or on its side or upside down. So that's basically how it works. And the box, the teacher would program it to either an easy, medium, or hard schedule. And that was the extent of it. And when you'll know when the baby is done, like as soon as you insert the key and turn it, the baby stops crying. But if you let it slip, the baby will start crying again. The only way that you'll know that it's time to take that key out is if the baby makes a cooing sound. Now, the downside of these babies is that the key hurts your fingers, like I said, and the cry is extremely loud and annoying. The back is very flat, which is uncomfortable for holding. Also, if you do not put the key in its back after 2 minutes of crying, it counts as neglect. Now, these models are no longer being manufactured by the company, but you can find them on eBay. The next one that came out was the Generation 5 Realistic Head Support Baby. And that's exactly the same as the standard. The only difference is that you have to support the baby's head. The head does not turn from side to side, but it does fall back. And if it falls back, it counts as lack of head support. Then came the original Real Care Baby. And the Real Care Baby is more advanced. It was more realistic. There was no more box to take in and out. You just open up the back, pop the batteries in, and a controller was used to set up the schedule. And the teacher could pick easy, medium, or hard, or they could say, I want the first day to be a hard schedule, the next day to be an easy schedule, the next day to be a medium schedule, or they could actually pick from a list of schedules. There's about, I think, 5 of each level, and the teacher has a chart. I have it in the book because I bought it from the company. In the book, it tells you exactly on a chart how many hours it would cry and what hours it wouldn't cry and things like that. So they could actually manually enter the number of each schedule. So it's a little more intricate. Also, when the baby cries, you have an ID that you wear on your wrist, but if you're an owner, you can choose to do whatever you want. You can pin it inside the clothes. It's a little round metal ID, and when the baby cries, you have to touch that into a circle on the baby's back, and it will beep, indicating that you have picked up the baby and you're ready to tend to it. Then you have to determine what the baby needs, whether it needs rocking, burping, diaper change, feeding, that kind of thing. And of course, you still have to support the baby's head. And over time, you can actually tell the difference in the cries and what it needs. And those ones came with a diaper that has a white square and a diaper that has a blue square, which we ultimately found out were big magnets in the diaper, just opposite sides of the magnets, so that it could tell the difference between the diapers changing. So for the original Real Cares, you can actually make modified diapers for them if you have magnets. And now the good thing about it was that it was more realistic than the original model, with all the realistic actions and interactions. The downside is that the head cannot turn from side to side, it can only fall back, and the cry is very loud, and the back is flat again. Also, there's Velcro on the inside of the diaper that attaches to the baby, which is a pain because it can ruin the diapers a bit, and also if the Velcro slips, it might not register that the baby's wearing a diaper and the baby might cry. Now again, they're no longer making original Real Cares, but you can find them on eBay. Now before that, around that time, there was a sister company that came out, and they named themselves Neonates, or Celu Spirits actually. And they were the sister site, so the sister of the person that made Baby Think It Overs took the mold, she bought the rights to the mold, and so she was able to duplicate the exact same look of the Baby Think It Over, but she called them Neonates. And what she did is that she added eyebrows, she added eyelashes to each doll, and she sold them either without electronics, just as a play baby for young children or doll collectors. And then she also included ones with electronics that again were meant for children or for adult collectors. And now the difference in those electronics, as you can see on my other demo videos, is that the Neonates, you don't program them. They don't have a realistic infant schedule. They don't cry at random hours. They cry every 2 minutes because it was initially geared towards children to play with. And they figured children aren't going to wait 6 hours or 3 or 4 hours for their doll to cry for care. They want to play now. They're not going to have their doll on 24/7. They're not going to have their doll on at night. So it had an on-off switch, as you saw in my Neonate demo video. An on-off switch, the batteries go in the back, and there's 2 different modes. There's play mode, and play mode is where the baby would cry for care, and you have to figure out, does it want feeding, rocking, burping, diaper change, and you also have to support the head. But it would cry every 2 minutes, which was really, really annoying for those looking for a realistic baby experience. The other mode was show mode, and in show mode it would just make random baby sounds, and you could feed the baby, change the baby's diaper whenever you wanted. And it would make the feeding sounds, and it would coo when you change the diaper. So I liked the idea that they added the eyebrows and eyelashes, and it was convenient because, of course, at that time the company was not selling to individuals, only to schools, which is still the case today. They only sell to schools, so the only place that you will find them is on eBay. I was lucky to get mine from the Canadian distributor, just because I told them my fiance and I needed the experience of having an infant, because my husband had, my fiance at the time, he's now my husband, didn't have infant experience, so I kind of conned them in that way, but I think they're not as lenient now. I don't think you're gonna have much luck. You can try. Yeah, and it was more affordable than Neonates, but the electronics just really, really weren't realistic at all. So then they came out with Real Care Baby 2, and there's a regular Real Care Baby where you just put batteries in the back, and then there's Real Care Baby 2 Plus, which is what I have. And Plus is Real Care Baby 2 and Real Care Baby 2 Plus do the exact same thing, except for the Plus is rechargeable, so you just plug it in to recharge the battery. You don't have to change the batteries, so that saves on money. Now these do everything that the Real Care Baby does, you know, feeding, rocking, burping, diaper change, you have to hold the head. But the only difference is that the Real Care 2 does go into a sleep mode where you hear it make breathing sounds. When it's sleeping, you cannot place it on its stomach or its side to prevent SIDS, but if the baby is not making sleeping sounds and it's awake, then you can put it on its tummy as tummy time.